students. Now in this video we will be covering an important concept of English, that is of gerunds. But before beginning with the explanation, let us first understand how gerunds are derived, what are actually gerunds. Now gerunds are basically the verbs that end with ing. So if anyone asks you what is a gerund, so a simple explanation is that gerunds are the verbs. Gerunds, if you consider gerunds, so they are the verbs ending with ing. All the verbs that end with ing are referred to as gerunds and they act as nouns. They are verbs but they also act as nouns. So all those verbs are referred to as gerunds, and gerunds are basically a type of non-finites. If we are aware that verbs are divided into two categories, the first category is referred to as finites and the second category is referred to as non-finites. First is finites and second is referred to as non-finites. Finites are referred to as all those verbs which contain a subject, they contain a person and a tense. But non-finites are all those verbs which do not contain any subject within them. All those verbs which do not contain subject within them are referred to as non-finites, and further they are divided into three categories. The first category is referred to as infinitives. The second category is referred to as gerunds, and the third category is referred to as participles. All are different from each other in some way or the another. Today our main focus will be on gerunds, and gerunds are all those verbs which end with ing. This is the basic definition. Infinitives are all those verbs which are preceded by to, right? So do not get confused between infinitive and gerunds, and if you do not understand both, then there is a specific video that has been created specifically for you to understand the difference and the relation between infinitives and gerunds. So do watch that video as well in order to clear all your doubts. Now here we are focusing on gerunds, so we will be discussing some of the examples in order to understand this topic in a much better manner. So let's quickly go through the sentences in order to easily understand this topic. So here we are discussing about gerunds, and now we are going to understand some of the examples, and we will see how gerunds act differently as a noun as well as a verb. So the first example that we can consider over here can be, walking is a good exercise. So when we say walking is a good exercise, over here we can see that the verb over here is walking, and I say that when the verb is followed by ing, then it is referred to as a gerund. So again, walking over here is considered to be a gerund. Why? Because gerund is verb plus ing, and over here that we know that the verb over here is work, and work plus ing is referred to as gerund. So definitely walking over here is gerund, but walking is also acting as a noun. It has the properties of noun as well. So here walking can also be considered as the subject of verb. Why it is considered as a subject of verb? Because walking is mentioned as the first word of the sentence and the first word is referred to as a subject. Therefore walking over here is a verb and it is hence considered to be subject of a verb. Here walking is acting as a noun as well as a gerund, right? So this was the first example. Now this is an example of subject of the verb. Now when I say that I want the verb to be as an object or gerund to be as an object of the verb, which means that here my sentence will not be beginning with the verb. Instead it will act as a subject. It will be somewhere in between the sentence or at the end of the sentence. So we can consider that example as well, and I can say I like eating chocolates. When I say I like eating chocolates over here, if someone asks you to find out the verb, then I will definitely say that eating over here is a verb, and since again eating is verb which is followed by ing, and over here verb is eat, which means that definitely again eating is considered to be a gerund, right? And here I say that eating acts as an object of the verb. Why? Because it is somewhere in the mid of the sentence and it is not in the beginning of the sentence, therefore it is considered to be object of verb. So this is the difference, how the verb can act as an object and it can also act as a subject. Now these two are the examples of gerunds. Do not get confused between gerunds and infinitives, because gerunds are all those verbs which end with ing, while infinitives are all those verbs which are preceded by to. So here if I say I like eating chocolates, then definitely it is a gerund. But when I say I like to eat chocolates, I like to eat chocolates, here to plus a verb that is referred to as infinitive. So this is a small difference between infinitive and gerunds. If you want to know more about infinitives and gerunds, then do watch the videos that I've created on the topics of infinitives and gerunds to understand the vast differences between these two, and also to clear this concept, as this concept is quite important and it is a bit confusing. So do pay attention on this topic, and also practice more and more questions in order to understand this topic in a better manner. So if you've not registered to our portal, then do register at abhyasonline.in, because once you register to this portal, you'll find it very beneficial, as you can view all the details regarding each and every topic of any subject, and also you can attempt the sample papers in order to score good in your exams and become master of English. So I suggest you to register at abhyasonline.in. Until then, keep learning and keep practicing.